every Disney story ends with a happily ever after. But what happens next? Let's find out. Have you ever wondered what Belle was like as a mom? Stick around to find out. First time at the things? Smash that subscribe button so you'll never miss a thing. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Now let's see what happened to Belle after Happily Ever After. Beauty and the Beast is one of the most iconic and beloved Disney stories. The original film was part of the Disney Renaissance. It introduced the world to a new princess and told a classic French tale in style. With award-winning songs and a talented cast, it instantly became a fan favorite. It also gave us one of the best villains in Disney history, Gaston. We love to hate that muscle-bound oaf.
Gaston, you've got to pull yourself together.
Seriously, who eats that many eggs? He could single-handedly cause a worldwide egg shortage and worldwide chickens to go on strike with those demands. Disgusting Gaston aside, the rest of the story is magical. The movie was fantastic, but the core story is just as good. Belle's father disappears in a dark wood during a terrible storm. She had already lost her mother and was determined to get her father back. Possessing all the courage of a Disney princess, Belle set off into the scary woods. She tracked her father's cart and horse to an old castle. Inside, she met Beast. At first, she sees him as cruel and terrifying, which he is, but he's at least willing to release Belle's sick father, but only if she agrees to stay forever. Perhaps he was driven by loneliness? Maybe Beast was hoping for a happy ending all along. No matter why he asked, Belle agrees to stay. She spends her time reading in the vast library and getting to know the staff.
Wanna see me do a trick?
Chip.
Oops.
None of them are in their true form. The entire castle and everyone in it were cursed by a crone after Prince Adam was cruel and selfish. During her time in the castle, Belle begins to see who Beast truly is. She can't help but fall in love with his intelligence, education, and kindness. In him, she has finally found the perfect reading partner. Belle falls in love with the Beast for who he really is. Belle's love for Beast overcame almost impossible odds. She's willing to stand with him no matter what. Her love and dedication will be put to the ultimate test. Outside of the castle, the villagers have a very different idea of who the Beast is. Gaston whips the villagers into an angry mob. He has them convinced Beast is a dangerous threat to them all, who must be killed to keep the village safe. They're easily convinced that Beast is their enemy, even though they've never met him. They take up their torches and pitchforks and head to the castle, led by Gaston. The mob makes its way to the castle for a dramatic and violent confrontation. The end of the film is full of action and suspense. The mob overtakes the castle and forces its way inside. Beast is attacked and really badly hurt. Gaston loses his life, and since he's not really the good guy in this story after all, it's hard to feel bad for him after the way he behaved. As eyebrow-raising as Gaston was, his death was still tragic. Despite the challenges, Belle and Beast drive off the villagers. After Belle and Beast defeat the angry mob, the curse is broken. Her love restores Beast to his true form. The story ends with everyone joyously transforming back into who they really are and reuniting with their loved ones. While the ending is a magical happily ever after, we can't help but wonder what happens after the movie ends. Come on, you know you've wondered too. What did Belle's wedding dress look like? How did Prince Adam propose? There's so much left to discover. After the movie, there are a lot of loose ends that need to be tied up. Not to mention that the story ends just before some serious historical events. We're gonna take a look at how a wealthy prince and his new bride made it through the French Revolution. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's start at the beginning. As the movie ends, Belle and Prince Adam are in love. The curse has been lifted from their castle, and all their friends have been returned to their true forms. As they begin to rebuild and repair the castle, their bond deepens. They're making a home together. They're building a life together. As any couple would, they begin to think about the future. A girl deserves a ring after she saves you from an angry mob, right? Belle is smart, brave, and willing to love the prince as a grumpy beast. Anyone would be crazy not to put a ring on it. Wedding bells seem to be in the air. Prince Adam was probably egged on by his overly romantic friend Lumiere, and an epic proposal is planned. Mrs. Potts probably lent her a feminine perspective too. She has a real soft spot for Belle and would want her special moment to be perfect. Given how much the library means to Belle, it's a natural choice for a location. Red roses, her favorite flower, would drip from every surface. Lumiere no doubt would encourage the prince to think of every little detail: champagne, chocolate, and of course, the perfect ring. Obviously, Belle says yes to her beloved prince. Who could resist a dream proposal in a fairy tale castle? It's a moment straight out of the books Belle loves to read. The royal engagement isn't the only change coming to the castle. Belle has a plan to help Prince Adam get back on the public's good side. The last time we saw the villagers, they weren't exactly welcoming to the beast. A pitchfork-wielding mob at your door isn't a sign of being a respected monarch. Just because he transformed back into his human form doesn't mean that the public will trust him. The prince needs to repair his public image, and his future wife is just the person to do it. Belle's love of reading gave actress Emma Watson a clear idea of Belle's next move. Emma played Belle in the 2017 live-action film. She has a unique perspective into the character's mind. She sees Belle opening the castle library to the public. We can't say she's wrong.
That was amazing.
This seems exactly what Belle would do. Perhaps serving her community as a librarian may not seem like the perfect job for a future princess. Dusty stacks of books aren't the first thing that comes to mind when we think of royalty. But Belle isn't your average princess. She values her mind above her tiara.
Well, some people use their imagination.
And that's exactly why we love her. She's happy to be an educator and public servant. She's from humble roots and was never very motivated by glitz and glam. Not a lot of her neighbors seem to be able to read. This would definitely get to Belle's tender heart. We imagine her teaching villagers to read as part of her library program. She would definitely want to share the joy she found in books. It's a great escape from the toil of everyday life. This would give her and the prince a reputation for caring about their community. That's a much better image than a huge, terrifying beast, isn't it? The royal wedding of Prince Adam and Belle has some mentions in Disney canon. There's a Disney read-along called Belle's Royal Wedding, which details the big day. Belle wore a gorgeous, sparkling gown covered in white rosettes. Prince Adam wore the blue and gold suit you'd expect. The day was filled with laughter and love. Belle and Prince Adam obviously improved their public image before the wedding. Lumiere surprises the happy couple by inviting the entire village to the wedding. The whole town turns out to cheer and celebrate. Sharing this special day with their subjects would further cement their relationships. Not every royal wedding is open to the public. Knowing Lumiere and his team, the affair was probably over the top. It would have been the party of the century. It may have been the most exciting night of many of the villagers' lives. Beauty and the Beast is set in late 1700s France. Historically, this was a crazy time for France. Everyone but the rich was starving to death. The working class rose up against the wealthy in a violent revolution. Heads were literally rolling. It wasn't a great time to be a rich guy in a castle. Prince Adam would have been a target. His palace wasn't exactly subtle. His wealth was on display, and the villagers may have still had an old grudge. How did Belle and Prince survive? Well, there are tons of fan theories. Some fans think that Belle's library went a long way with the villagers. Belle and Prince Adam are both compassionate people. Many fans think that they would have taken action before the revolution began. Feeding the villagers, building community gardens, and lowering taxes in their kingdom could have earned them brownie points. Some fans think the couple would have sided with the working class and helped their cause. As champions of the people, they would have avoided the dangers other wealthy families faced. Many fans consider the descendants part of official Disney canon. Even if it isn't official, it's certainly the most fun future we can imagine. That means the formation of Auradon is the next chapter in Belle and Beast's happily ever after story. Some fans think that Belle and Prince Adam live in a fairy tale version of France. If that's so, the revolution could have affected all of the story settings. Villains could have been involved, or even the root cause of the uprising. This could very well be why Prince Adam undertook the unification of all fairy tale kingdoms into the United States of Auradon. King Beast sacrificed taking his new queen on a honeymoon so he could form the USA. He demonstrated his commitment to the kingdom. That kind of display would have won him public approval. The founding of Auradon was a huge moment in the history of Disney's fairy tale kingdoms. Living happily in the USA with her king, Belle was finally able to turn her attention to building a family. The revolution in her own kingdom was chaos. There would have been years of rebuilding and regrowth. Those lean years aren't the time to be responsible for a baby. Founding an entirely new alliance in Auradon and banishing all of the villains would have taken all of Prince Adam and Belle's time and attention. That didn't leave room in their lives for children either. But Auradon's founding welcomed a new age of very much needed peace. It was the perfect time to bring Belle and Beast's child into the world. Ben must have been an adorable little boy. He's so handsome and charming as a teenager. We can't help but imagine a little boy with blonde ringlets and a blue and gold romper. Belle must have been so excited to show off her beautiful child. We imagine Belle reading all of the parenting books she could get her hands on, and maybe even writing a few. Belle as a mom. Can you imagine her messy brown bun and gold yoga pants? We can't help but imagine her with a large coffee and a t-shirt that says Mama Beast. Even if that wasn't quite the picture, we bet she was an amazing mother. There's no way that Ben turned out so compassionate, responsible, and progressive if he wasn't raised exceptionally well. Belle's life really is a fairy tale. She got to fall in love with a handsome prince. She lives in a beautiful enchanted castle surrounded by friends. She's the queen of a progressive and sparkling kingdom. She has a brave, intelligent, and handsome son. Anyone would be lucky to walk a mile in her silk slippers. We're happy for Belle that she got her happily ever after. Her story began with fear and struggle. She showed her courage and integrity at every turn. She stood by her friend Beast until her heart filled with love for him. She befriended his staff and tried to save them from their curse. She stood up for herself against fearsome enemies and angry mobs. Belle earned the happy life she has now. She's a good person who's loyal and compassionate, and we're so glad she's living her best life. What do you think about Belle's happily ever after? Come let us know in the comments. We hope you enjoyed this look at Belle's life after happily ever after. We'll see you next time.